Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends for another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a fella who was the prize at a race. The previous one, while this one is coming to an end. It took a while. And this is Lighterium. And Lighterium is a legendary. He's light. He is part of the Spirits book, the Underworld book, the Winter book. That one could be interesting. And, of course, he's part of a temporary book, which is going away very soon. Lighterium also showed up with 2 open ruin slots, which isn't as bad as 1 open ruin slot, but not as good as 3 open ruin slots. But we're not going to hold that against him. No, we're not. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to put him here for now, and then we'll find a home for him later. A permanent one. Okay, that looked painful for them. Alright, so where is he here? He's in here somewhere. Okay, this is Forsetti. No, I'm not going to call him Forsetti. We'll come up with something else. This is Lighterium. And Lighterium, as I said, is a legendary. He is light. He has an evolving trait. At the moment, he is immune to blindness. But if you rank him up, you get all kinds of good stuff with him. All kinds of good and useful stuff. But at the moment, he's immune to being blind. All right, and what else has he got? Let's take a look at some stats here. His strength is not so terrific there, but I don't think that's his job. As I understand it, he is denial. Is he denial? Is he good denial? I have no idea, because I literally have no idea what he actually does. I have shielded myself from that for this video. All right, let's look at the life. Life is slightly above normal, although normal these days is a weird thing. I would actually, given the way they've been giving out life these days, I'd actually call him frail, because it's kind of like that these days. Anyway, his speed is actually very good, which if he's denial, that's actually something he's going to need. Speed. All right, let's take a look at his initial skills. We have Walk Alone. Deals low physical damage to 1 enemy, and Light Road at Night. Deals moderate light damage to 1 enemy. And that very interesting and very damaging looking special skill, this is Fear of the Light. Removes positive status effects from all enemies, disables traits on all enemies, applies sunburn to all enemies, applies total blind to all enemies. Okay, so they're in a lot of trouble right there. Their traits have been disabled, they have sunburn, and they can't see anything. They haven't actually taken any damage, but they're really set up to be hurt. Also, if they had any good things on them, they were all taken away. All right, so that's kind of supporty, kind of denial-ish. Lighterium's mission in the underworld is to guarantee that no good souls end up trapped there by mistake. But so many years down there, as well as his friendly relationship with Barbados, are starting to cloud his judgment. That was all one sentence, by the way. Is Lighterium now just messing around with souls for fun? Okay, is he a bad guy now? So he went down there with a good mission to make sure nobody good goes down there, and now he's messing with souls? I don't know about that. I think that Barbados may have corrupted him. I guess we're going to have to see about that. All right, well, you know what? We need to feed him. We'll get him to his final evolution at level 4 by stuffing him with tomatoes. And there he is. Okay, apparently he has legs, but they look like they've shriveled up to the point where he doesn't need them anymore, and he can just float around. I also notice he's very handy. Yes, he does. All right, so let's get with the skills, because I am very interested to see what this fellow can do. So, level 7, it begins. A little anxious when it's light. Deals moderate light damage to 1 enemy, 50% chance of applying sunburn. All right, so, and that's a 0 cooldown, and that's a 0 stamina. Interesting. Interesting. His skills would have to be pretty bad for me to keep that, though. Just saying. All right, so let's continue to level 10. Hard to Look Again. Deals moderate light damage to 1 enemy, applies daze and sunburn to 1 enemy. Okay, that's kind of interesting right there. It's low damage, but it gives daze, which isn't so terrific, but it also gives sunburn. So the 2 of them together, that's not so bad. All right, let's see if he's going to be mixing and matching things. Daze isn't really one of my favorite things, but if you put it along with something else, that's not so bad. All right, so let's get to level 15. Another skill. Light begins to fade. Deals low special damage to one enemy, applies possession to one enemy. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. It's also a 0 cooldown, so we can spread the love around, right? I'm going to throw it there for now. Be kind of hard not to keep that. So I'm guessing, is he going to be doing possession and blinding or stuff like that? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, so let's get to level 20. Someone's watching you. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies, applies daze and sunburn to all enemies. That's not so bad. I certainly don't need that one anymore. I mean, it was a 0 cooldown, but, you know, it's not like it was damage or something. We're getting the effect that we want, only everybody's getting it, right? All right, so let's continue to level 25. Something's always near. Removes positive and negative status effects from one enemy, applies possession to one enemy. Okay, and apparently I got some growth up there. I'm going to throw this up here for now, because why not? That could be useful. That could be useful. Kind of a high cooldown on that, but then again, it does remove positive and negative status effects. Although negative, I don't know, you want to get rid of the negative ones? We'll see. All right, so let's continue. We want to see his final spec, right? To level 30. I have constant fear. Deals heavy light damage to one enemy, applies sunburn to one enemy, and evasion to itself. That's a little strange because he's doing heavy light damage. But I mean, obviously something that does damage, gives sunburn, and gives him evasion is not such a bad thing at all. That's a good question here. I don't know. I'm going to put it here for now, just because I don't want it to come back again. I want to see the new things. All right, so we obviously have like at least 3 skills left, so let's keep going. We're probably going to have to arrange things. Searching for the light. Removes all negative status effects from all allies. Applies immunity control to all allies. All right, well, that's very, very useful right there. Okay, so I'm guessing maybe like he's kind of supporty too. Thing is, where am I putting that? That one is a single target possession. That one's a single target possession that removes positive and negative status effects. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that I don't need that one because I do have this one which does the possession. I don't know. You know, I'm going to do this for now. I'm not saying I'm keeping it that way. It's just that that's just kind of useful. All right, so let's continue to level 40. Probably 2 more left. I feel a little strange. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies. 50% chance of applying possession twice to all enemies. Applies sunburn to enemies. It's going to do damage, negligible damage, right? And then there's a 50% chance of applying possession twice. Is that a 50% chance of doing it twice or a 50% chance of doing it at all? In other words, it either tries to apply it twice or it doesn't try at all. That's a little on the strange side. I do understand that if trying to apply something twice, you're trying to get through the, say, hardening or resistance of some kind, right? If you try something twice, it's easier to actually get it applied, right? It wouldn't mean anything for somebody who's immune to it. But I don't understand what it means. A 50% chance of applying possession twice to all enemies. So if you miss the 50% roll, does it not even try at all? And you just basically get the sunburn? That's kind of weird. That is really, I don't know about that one now. Getting the event. But you know, this isn't his job. At least not that I... All right, I'm going to throw this here for now. Let's see what the last skill is, because there should be 1 more left, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do. I'm very confused by this individual, by the way. And level 45. Something's always near. All right, we did that one already. And level 50. Someone's always there, right? Position to one enemy and then again to all enemies. Wait a minute. Applies possession to one enemy and then again to all enemies. All right, this tells me that whoever I target, I'm going to try to possess twice. And everybody else is just going to get one shot. All right, so I consider the new one to be superior because there's no 50% involved. Yes, I mean, there's a nice little sunburn there, but yeah, I have a lot of sunburn going on now, right? I mean, this one right here does sunburn to everybody and daze. This is the single target possession. I might end up keeping that because it's got a 0 cooldown to it. This one, though, is very nice. Very, very nice indeed. All right, I'm going to put this one here for now. All right, we're going to take a look at the skills all together once we get him to 60. And I do believe he's done for everything new. All right. I have a constant fear. That one doing damage, I don't know. I just don't see that one. All right, somebody's always near. All right, and then what we're going to do is that. All right, the one thing I actually want to look at before I go into the skills, I want to look at his stats because there's something I want to see. All right, his strength is pretty much nothing to write home about. So that's kind of what I wanted to see. I just wanted to see what his strength looked like. All right, his life is a bit above normal. Of course, like I said, the definition of normal is changing these days, so you could refer to him as frail. His speed is very good, so if you put speed on him, he's going to go quickly. All right, now let's go back to the skills for a moment here. One of the reasons I want to look at that because I wanted to basically completely dismiss this one. This one, basically, it does give him evade. But I think you're kind of wasting a turn by doing this. You know, I mean, he's going to attack with heavy damage, but he doesn't really have damage, and you're not going to put damage on him, right? So he's going to give sunburn and evasion to himself. So he has lots of things that give sunburn, so I consider that to be negligible. This is basically around just to give him evasion, where he's not doing anything useful. So I'm going to, no, that one is just not even open to consideration. Now this one, I don't know what to do about this one. I think the one that I have is better, and it's not like I can do one after the other one because there's going to be immunity. But I mean, I just don't see why I'd want to keep this one. I feel a little strange because is it a 50% chance of applying the second possession? Is it going to do a possession and then there's a 50% chance of applying another one? If you look at the wording, 50% chance of applying possession twice. But does that mean we're going to do it once? So I'm not going to touch that one. I think the one that we have over here, somebody's always there, applies possession to one enemy and then again to all enemies. So you're going to try twice with one individual. So if you have somebody who is hardened, tough, maybe a VIP, you get to target them, try twice to possess them, right? So I think that's a superior one. So I'm keeping that one. I'm not keeping the first two. The first two I just don't see any purpose. Now what about this one? Removes positive and negative status effects from one enemy and gives them possession. Now you could remove a protection against control using this one, right? It's just the thing about it is that this one is a 0 cooldown. I could use this one at any time. If you get your cooldowns activated, you can do this. I mean, is it worth the positive and negative to get a 3-round cooldown? I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep this one. This one I can use anytime I want, assuming that I have the stamina. And this one is actually more stamina anyway. So I'm keeping the one that I have. Hard to look again. All right, this is just, I don't want this. There's no reason for me to have that one because I have this one, which is the group version, right? I mean, it has a 0 cooldown, but you know what? I'd rather be doing possessions with 0 cooldowns, right? I think that's about it. All right, it's a little weird, but this is what I'm going with, right? All right, so let's take a look at these skills, right? All right, let's start with the first one. I think this one is vastly superior to the other one because you know what you're getting, and it is going to be easier for you to possess someone who's difficult to do that with. Mind you, like again, it's not going to have anything to do with somebody who is immune to possession or control, right? Anyway, this is somebody's always there. Applies possession to one enemy and then again to all enemies. So the one you target, you're going to attempt to possess twice. So if they resist the first one, you get another try. That could be very useful if you have somebody who's difficult, like a VIP, like I said, or maybe a nemesis or something who's really difficult. You get 2 shots at it. Very, very powerful indeed. So that's a really good starter right there. And then we have this one, Searching for the Light. Now this one is support. Removes all negative status effects from all allies, applies immunity to control to all allies. This one obviously could be very, very useful indeed. It could be the second thing that's done. First you do the possessions, then you come back and then protect your own team in case the other side's got possessions as well. If you got a lot of speed on it, you can be very good with this. And then we have this one, Light Begins to Fade. Deals low special damage to one enemy, applies possession to one enemy. Now there was another one. There was another single target possession that removed positive and negative status effects. But it had a 3-round cooldown. And it was slightly more stamina, which is irrelevant. This one is a 0 cooldown. If somebody was to go first and then activate Lighterium's cooldowns, he can do this one. He can target somebody dangerous on the other side and attempt to possess them. So I think that that's just a really good safety thing. I mean, at this point, that's 2 rounds, that's 2 rounds, that's 0, that's 2 rounds. If I was to take the one that was a 3-round and he gets his cooldowns activated, he's not going to be able to do anything for 2 rounds. And his team's probably going to be dead by that point. So I like having this one. It's really nice and strategic. The fact that it does a little bit of damage is irrelevant because his strength isn't terrific. And I'm not going to put strength on him. No, I'm not. And then we have this one. Something's Watching You. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies. Applies daze and sunburn to all enemies. Requires cooldown, obviously. 2-round cooldown. I see this as something situational. If you get the opportunity, something comes up, you can do this one. Apply daze and sunburn. You probably could swap this out with something else. Maybe you want to put the other possession in there. I suppose maybe for an emergency situation like I mentioned, if the other team has immunity to control, you could just take it off and do that. So this one here, I'm not really too set on this one. Something like this you could change out. I mean, it is useful. It does put sunburn on everybody and daze. It'll hurt accuracy a bit. The damage, again, isn't anything to write home about. But the thing is, it could end up being useful. Mostly, you're probably going to stay in here. You're going to stay with this one. You're going to stay with this one. You might stop by and do that, and then you can go back and do that. Maybe I change it out. Maybe I put something else in there. But I think for the purposes of testing, I'm going to leave this one here for now. All right, and this is Lighterium. So is he good? Yes, he is. He's got a lot of good stuff going his way. He's got the possessions. He's got the protection. And also, he's in some interesting books as well. I think the most useful one would be the Winter book, because there's not a lot in there but freezing. So it's good to have another form of denial in there if you need it, which for wars, yeah, basically you do kind of need it. So he's actually very useful to have. And I think that's going to be it for now. So answer, he's very good. Absolutely indeed. And if you're able to rank him up, of course, then you're going to be able to get better forms of traits here. You have to get him up to 3 in order to get hardening. So, I mean, I guess True Vision at the end is pretty good. But, I mean, in this case, I don't really see a big deal here, I mean, if you get him up to rank 3, the big thing, he's going to be a lot faster. I think that's pretty much why you'd really want to do it. You want this guy to go first. Right, with any denial, that's what you want. You want him to go first. You want him to go as fast as you can, too. If he can possess the other side and then come back immediately and protect his own team from all control, that's pretty good right there. I don't really see his evolving trait as being critical. I see if you rank him up, you're going to get the benefits of a higher level individual who is going to be much faster. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See you.